While sitting in your room with a slice of pizza in your hand, looking at a computer or smartphone screen, you feel comfortable and secure. Your home is your fortress, which can protect you from almost any problem. However, what if after a moment you find yourself in a car, flying into the ditch, or in the jungle next to an anaconda in front of you? What if you were on a small island in the middle of the ocean, away from the shore? This video is about people who got into such situations and thanks to their luck or tricks, were able to get out of them. Let's go! Here comes Michael Benson, the best cameraman who works for a major TV channel. With such a profession, only God knows where the next time the producer decides to throw the lens off a camera with the cameraman himself. In November in the year 1992, Michael and his comrade, Chris Daddy, were doing aerial filming of an active volcano in Hawaii. The sudden failure of the helicopter led to its emergency landing, which in fact was more like a fall. And where would you think he landed? Exactly, in the vent of the volcano. Of course, the sea of lava in the style of Lord of the Rings was not worth waiting for, but lava streams surrounded by poisonous pears and ash clubs can kill all living things. Chris and the pilot got out the next day, but Michael had to wait for 2 days before the rescuers could see him and save him using the helicopter. It could have ended much worse. One of the most dangerous places on the planet is the ocean. In its depths, you can find a lot of dangers. One of the most popular ones are sharks. An Australian student, Rodney Fox, in the year 1963, took part in catching fish from the ocean. As a result of a successful fishing, there was quite a lot of blood in the water, which attracted sharks. One of such sea beasts attacked Rodney. It seriously damaged his arm, and then it attacked again. And this time, because the student was skinny, grabbed with his jaws his torso straight into its mouth. Then, for an unexplained reason, it let him go and swam away. Whether it was a warning from the water creature not to touch the inhabitants of the ocean, or for a prosaic reason, Bonnie Rodney did not come to the shark's taste. One could only wonder. The funny thing is that the young oceanologist after that became an ardent defender of white sharks. Maybe Stockholm Syndrome, or maybe gratitude for the fact that the predator did not eat him. Who knows? A plane crash is the case in which a person dies almost inevitably. However, the girl who got on the 8th place of the top stories today disapproves with this statement. After lightning struck her plane at an altitude of 3,200 meters, Julia Kepke survived. Her arm and leg were damaged, and her right eye was swollen. But, after all, she was able to move. After finding a few candies among the plane wreckage, Julia, with such a miserable supply of food, began to fight for her life. And only 9 days later, she found a woodcutter's shelter. He took the girl to the hospital. After recovering a bit, Julia tipped the search team. Among the dead, unfortunately, was her mother. And there is a version that she, like the 14 other passengers, did not die from the fall. However, they hadn't managed to survive until someone rescued them. The most socially active hero, Todd Orr, was traveling through the state of Montana and hunting elks. Knowing about the abundance of grizzly bears in this area, every 30 seconds he shouted, "Hey, bear!" so that in the case of being nearby, the predator was afraid of the loud sound and ran away. However, on entering the glade, Todd was noticed by a group of several bears with cubs. In this case, neither a scream nor even pepper spray against the animal would help. Defending their offspring from the alleged threat, one of them attacked Todd. After damaging his face, scratching his arm, the bear withdrew. At the time when Todd tried to return to the car, halfway he was attacked by it again. This time, he froze, lying with his left hand bitten, to make the predator go away. But this guy's just crazy. After losing a lot of blood, the first thing he did when he got to the car was to take a photo of himself and put it on Facebook to share his dramatic story. The luckiest woman in history is Eva Wisniewska, a talented sportswoman and paraglider. Preparing for the World Championship in Australia, she took part in a training flight. Besides her, 200 more athletes started. Having got into a thunderstorm cloud because of a strong storm, Eva was raised to the height of almost 10 kilometers above the ground, judging by the information from different instruments. Because of the temperature minus 50 degrees and lack of oxygen, she lost consciousness. After a while, the paraglider, due to the weight of the sticking ice, began to fall rapidly. At a speed of 200 kilometers per hour, the girl flew up to a height of 7 kilometers until the glider opened again and she woke up from a strong shake. Then, using her skills, the girl was able to get out of the cloud, land, and save herself. It was extremely difficult to survive in such a situation. She was incredibly lucky. Australian paraglider Godfrey Winnes believes that the chance to survive in this situation is equal to the chance to win the lottery 10 times. This confirms the fact that the Chinese paraglider He Zhongping, who got with her in the cloud, was found dead a day later. This story is about a man who survived a terrible accident that damaged his internal organs. We can surely say that some people were born in a shirt. This 48-year-old Italian seems to have been born in a bulletproof vest. As a result of a motorcycle accident, he ended up in the hospital, where the doctors summarized that his chest was totally destroyed. Broken ribs and seriously damaged lungs were not the most unexpected problems. Without hearing the heartbeat, the doctor sent him to a computer tomography, which showed that the heart is very shifted to the left. Considering all his symptoms, this guy should not have been alive, but he was conscious and could even interact with the world around him. Movies have been made and books were written about Everest, but even today, the highest mountain in the world remains a place of many deaths. However, Lincoln Hall was proof that one can survive even such a dangerous place. Having lost consciousness, he practically stopped breathing, falling into the snow at an altitude of 8 kilometers. The Sherpas who accompanied him thought that he was dead and left him. 12 hours later, Lincoln was noticed by the next ascending group that picked him up and saw signs of life. After that, the climber was saved and taken to the base, though he froze his fingers. This accident was called the Miracle on Everest. Not only extreme athletes are capable of getting into a deadly situation. The next story is about Mouro Prosperi, who participated in a marathon on the Sahara. Like Eve Vinerskaya, he got into awful weather conditions, more exactly, into a sandstorm. Disoriented, Mouro found himself far away from civilization. For 10 days, he walked through the desert, moving only at night and sleeping in the morning. He had to eat snakes, bats, and lizards. Since he was in the desert, there was only one drink available for him: his own urine. After an unsuccessful suicide attempt, the sportsman decided that he should live, because this is what heaven says. In the end, he managed to find people who were able to save him. Harrison Oken, a Nigerian sailor, ended up in a terrible shipwreck. Despite the fact that all the crew members were rescued, he found himself in the so-called air pocket in his kitchen. Harrison was the ship's cook. It was in the place of a ship that had sunk. At a depth of 30 meters, he did not hope to survive and went through a terrible stress, while the rescuers could not get to him because of the ongoing storm. In the end, he was rescued. Moreover, he even swam towards the rescuers, but after that, he refused to go out to the sea forever. The chance to survive was very low because the storm could not last much longer, and who knows how it would have ended in this case. Yossi Ginsburg, the man who became the modern embodiment of the conquistadors of the 16th century. He set out to search for new tribes of Indians in the jungle of South America, but fell into a waterfall. The strong flow broke the boat into two parts and took the researcher very far from the initial place. Once in the jungle, he realized that he had only a lighter and an insect spray in his pockets. For 16 days, he was walking through the jungle before being found. He fought back jaguars, snakes, various dangerous insects with an improvised flamethrower, which was made from the lighter and spray. The story of Yossi Ginsburg is one of the few in which everything depended on the person, his courage and skills, and not on luck. That is why he deservedly gets the honorary first place in the top of the survivors. Take care of yourself and do not get involved in dangerous adventures. It does not always end as well as with our heroes. Subscription to our channel and liking this video always leads only to positive results. We will have a lot of interesting facts for you soon. Goodbye.